Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor as we preview the best of the action from Doncaster, Newbury, as well as the return of jumps racing at Cheltenham. Of course, the Sky Sports racing cameras will be at Doncaster and Newbury though, so we've got loads of action to go at. I'm being joined, as you can see, by Declan Rix and Sam Boswell. Sam, the attire, you've upped the stakes yet again.
Yeah, BetVictor sponsoring at Newbury over the 2 days, so I've got to go off and do the hard job of handing out a few trophies, and then we're on to Northern Ireland for the snooker. It's a big weekend of sport, El Clasico, loads of Premier League action and some great racing as well. You
look great as well, Deck, by the way. I do appreciate this. It's just the fact that Sam's added a tie, which is strange for us.
I've gone down with the old lurgy at the moment.
Not looking it, though.
I was sweating like Highland reel in the bed there last night, so things weren't looking good. But we can't go any further without saying well done to Katie Tracey last week.
I was wondering how long it was going to take.
You absolutely chopped it off.
Oh, thank you. I know, yeah. At the end of the flat season, it's typical, isn't it? Where I've had a tumultuous time during the main part of the season. We get to the end of it and all of a sudden it comes good. But hopefully.
You could hear the glee in her voice just saying Cheltenham to the cameras here with the jump season.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited, though, all the same, for all that my form is finally there then for the flat season. But hopefully we can find you loads of winners now going into the jump season proper as well. But, of course, before we get stuck into the action, a reminder, as ever, to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, we begin at Cheltenham with the 2:20 handicap chase for your odds and over 3 mile 1. Broadway Boy kicking off then, 100 to 30 favourite heading the way down.
Yeah, still a bit of a learning phase for me if I'm honest with the jumps this season, at the moment anyway. I think it's just that really difficult time of year, isn't it? In between still some of the good stuff on the flat and the jumps just starting. But I'm going to keep it simple in this race. I'm going to put up Broadway Boy. I think half the battle at this time of year is just finding trainers who have their horses in good order, horses who are fit, and the string of Nigel Twiston-Davies are clearly in great order at the moment. He always starts the season well, but I think he's operating at a 25% strike rate, Nigel, and he always does well at this October meeting at Cheltenham as well, doesn't he? Now, this is old Broadway last year, making his chasing debut at Worcester, and he just continued to get better and better as the season went on. Now, the wheels did come off a little bit at Warwick and at Aintree. I think he scoped badly after the Hampton novices chase, and at Aintree, I think just that time of year you can forgive any horse a poor run. But look, he's still only a 6-year-old. He's a big horse, as you saw on the VT there. I think there's probably going to be more to come from him. He's got course form as well at Cheltenham. He jumps, he travels, and I still think a rating of 149 is workable. And I think horses who race prominently like he does have done well in the race recently. So yeah, nothing fancy to kick us off, but Broadway Boy to start the show this week.
Solid case made to kick us off, though, the same with the Nigel Twiston-Davies yard. They are just in flying form, as you say, as we expect it this time of year as well. Sam, who do you like? Yeah,
I love Broadway Boy. Very quickly, really like him. Top of the betting was just a little bit too short for me, but Dex made a really good case, and also good ground will not be an issue. I've taken a real flyer in this one, Kate. The jumps are back, and I'm going to try and find something at a bit of a price. And I've made a bit of a case here for Vanillier, I think.
Yes.
Now, completely out in the bar. This horse, really curiously, has started his season obviously being aimed at the Grand National the last 2 years running. Finished second in the race if you go back in time to 2023, and was sort of, I think, 14th last year just gone. His mark as a result of last season has tumbled to, I think you could say he's possibly well handicapped, because he started off his season last year. His first run came over, I think, 2 miles, 2 mile 1, something like that. The second run over 2 mile, 2 mile 4, 2 mile 3.
Getting ready for the National.
Exactly, Deck. But this year, we're going straight here for a 3 mile 1 furlong handicap at Cheltenham, a meeting that Gavin Cromwell's had winners at before. The horse potentially, I think, at 9 now. He's had his chance at a National, if we're being completely honest. I just think 16 to 1 looks a huge price about a horse who he's dropped a couple of pounds now. I think he might just outrun his price at 28 to 1.
Yeah, I mean, they've said that they're not going to aim him at the Grand National this year, aren't they? And the fact that, like I say, he's already had a blinding run in the National, not so great last year, it kind of feels like maybe he's had his time to make that count, so why not make the whole rest of the season count rather than aim for that big race?
Yeah, and how much easier is it going to be starting off over 3 miles, not sort of going over these shorter trips or spinning back and forwards? Ground shouldn't be an issue as well. I think he'll handle the good ground, and Gavin Cromwell can do no wrong, really, and this meeting is definitely one that he does well at.
Yeah, he's got some really, really live chances, hasn't he, on Saturday, especially then at Cheltenham. I like Kansas City Star in this one, who's actually not on our betting either in here. So another big price, but him, I just feel that he's going to massively outrun his price. Really, really likeable type as well. He's 16-1 as well in this one. Now, we're going to look back at him 3 runs ago at Plumpton over 2 mile 1. This was his last success. He got his preferred good ground, just his 3rd start for Harry Derham, previously with Gordon Elliott, but he won his Sabre debut for this yard before being beaten on heavy ground next time out. Bounced back to form on good ground on this occasion. Then the good soft ground he encountered at Bangor again didn't suit him, so he was put away for the summer. Reappearance last time out, went up to Kelso, and again he did get his ground, but he made most, and he just looked like he got tired. He just faded out of things there. He's got a little bit of an OXO pattern to his form, but given the right conditions, I think he's got every chance here to bounce back, to get back to winning ways. And I'm also so keen to see him over this trip. His pedigree massively suggests he'll want it. And he's a former Irish pointer. The only time he's run over 3 miles was then. So it's taken kind of this long to get him back to that. I think it could unlock a whole load more potential in Kansas City Star. Right, divided opinion. The jump season is back. At least we have some different opinions to go at then in our opener. Do let us know who you fancy for that contest in the comment section below. Right, the 3:30 at Cheltenham. You two wanted to look at 2 mile, 4-year-old hurdle. Gavin Cromwell. We talk about the horses he has coming here. Bottler's Secret, now even money favourite. I'm not surprised to see that he shortened up, Sam.
No, loads of respect, but even money, I can leave that. And when we sort of put our selections in, the horse that was a little bit bigger in the prices was Give Me 5 for that man, Harry Derham, the aforementioned when you were talking about Kansas City Star there. He's running at 40% strike rate at the moment. I kind of feel like he can do no wrong. And this horse has been... really interesting story. Obviously got some particularly famous golfers involved and things, and I just felt, looking at his profile, the run at Haydock on the flat was obviously a really good opportunity to get a run into him before coming here. He'll be really tuned up for it. I think there's just a bit more to come from him. Obviously gets £8 as well, I think, from the favourite, which I think is going to be really key here. Kind of has the potential to excel and go a little bit further, and I'm really excited to see. And I was just trying to find something that's going to put it up to the favourite, and rather unoriginally, I came back to the second favourite, but he was a slightly bigger price. 7-2 is as short as I'd want to take.
I mean, it's more original than siding with the even money favourite, to be fair to you. So the second least original selection, we'll give it that at least. Deck, original or second best original? I'm
second best original as well, yeah. Good old Give Me 5. Sounds like me playing a par 3, it does. So I'll take a 5 all day. But yeah, I'm with Sam. He stole lots of my lines there, so he hasn't left much meat on the bones for me. But what I would say is there looks to be an awful lot of pace in here. I think it's going to test stamina. It's a race that's going to test sharpness, and it's going to test your ability to travel. Give Me 5 has already had a run on the flat, and it looks like this has been a very early season target for the Harry Derham team, who, as Sam says, are operating at a 40% strike rate. So yeah, looking forward to him. He does an awful lot right. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him getting back on some proper good national hunt ground, because he's a proper flatbred horse, isn't he? So I think he's hoped by Holy Roman Empire. So yeah, I think he will shape well for a long way. An awful lot of his form has come on those flatter tracks, so just hope he's not like me there, kind of gasping for air after they jumped the last. But he looks like he's been primed for the race, and I just thought at the prices with him getting £8, it was Give Me 5 from moi.
Both of you two taking on the even money favourite then, Bottler's Secret, heading the race. Currently 66-1 for the champion hurdle. Gavin Cromwell and his form in the race, he could be
he's won it with a 5-year-old before, isn't he, Gavin?
Exactly, hasn't he just? Yeah, so it could be fascinating to see what Bottler's Secret can do, but Give Me 5 for both of you two. Right, Doncaster, the 205. I have elected to go at here. 0 to 105 handicap over 5 furlongs. I don't really know why, to be honest, but this race wide open, as you can see from the betting, as you would expect. 11 to 2 the field. However, this is a perfect opportunity for me to reel out Tracey's trends again. Now, Tracey's trends managed to find us the winner of the Balmoral last week. For all that, we didn't have a graphic for it. However, we are back again now, graphic and all this time, for this handicap. Now, the trends have shown some really interesting facts in this race. Now, we're showing you the last 5 horses to have won it, but as you can see, this is actually the last 4 years of the race, because we did have a dead heat in 2021, of course. But the trends also include those dead heated winners. Now, for all of the variables I focus in on, first and foremost is the amount of runs each horse has had coming into this season, which, as you can see, suggests a fair degree of conditioning is needed to win this. And 2 horses have won on their 10th start of the campaign in this race. Then how they fared and in what kind of a race last time out, either winning a 5-furlong handicap or running to finish mid-division in a York 6-furlong heritage handicap that precedes this race 2 weeks prior to the race, which of course then leads into the time since their last run, 10 to 21 days, with 2 weeks being the optimal time thanks to that York Heritage Handicap. So the horse that ticks all of these boxes is the Bell Conductor, who is a nice price as well. Now, he finished 11th in the aforementioned York Heritage Handicap 14 days ago. 9 runs this campaign thanks to his start on the all-weather over the winter, so he's well conditioned and hopefully he can get back to the winning ways as seen on his penultimate start at Chester, which is what we're looking at now. Now, this was really likeable success from him, and the mark that he won off of did suggest, in comparison to the RPR he posted, that he has far more mileage left in this mark. So I'm hoping for the Bell Conductor he can fit all the trends again and get back to the winning ways as seen there at Chester. So the Bell Conductor for me in that 2:05 at Doncaster.
And that concludes this weekend's episode of Tracey's Trends.
I know, yeah, for this week, I know. I feel like I've almost jinxed ourselves with the graphic, though, now, because after we didn't put the graphic in last week, then it came good in the Balmoral. Hopefully, though, we can make it 2 from 2 with Tracey's Trends. We're going to stick at Doncaster for the 240, the big race of the weekend, the Group 1 Futurity Trophy Stakes, 2-year-olds over a mile. Of course, live on Sky Sports Racing. Aidan O'Brien, he's won this 11 times. Now, he relies on Delacroix in here, 4-1 second favourite, Sam.
Yeah, don't think I was quite as taken with Delacroix as the market is at the moment. Obviously, his record in the race is so exceptional, Aidan's, but is this horse an Auguste Rodin or a Luxembourg? I'm not so sure. And listen, I like Wimbledon Hawkeye, but I'm a bit of a sucker for an unexposed horse, and that's where I was looking at the likes of Anno Domini, but it's Detain that I really, really like here. If there's one lesson I'm going to take from this flat season, don't be a snob about all-weather form, because I used to be, I think. I used to be a little bit dismissive, but look at the 2000 Guineas. Look at the winner of that, where he came from. I definitely think there's something to be said about perhaps old methods like dismissing it. I definitely was guilty of that, and I've learnt that this flat season. This horse is really interesting. Jonathan Thady Gosden.
You could even go a step further with that and say, do not dismiss all-weather form with the Gosdens. Yeah. Enables one on the all-weather, Stradivarius one on the all-weather, Jack Hobbs on the all-weather. Without parole as well, they clearly like it as a starting point for some of their nicer horses. Sorry to cut across.
That's all right. The good news is Jonathan Thady Gosden seem to be ending the season, because I've been a little underwhelmed in the early part and middle of the season, but they're ending it well. And I just thought Detain is a really curious horse. The first start probably has the better form to it, but the second start was a very impressive win, albeit at a short price. I just wanted something where there's more to come. Horses that have done one recently with just the 2 runs to name, Luxembourg actually did that, because I think he was a non-runner or a race got cancelled. He came here off the back of 2 runs and won it. So it is possible in recent history. And I just don't know about Wimbledon Hawkeye. Obviously, I think he's achieved plenty to date, but I went back through and just felt like maybe I want something that's a little bit lighter raced. 4 runs is a fairly hefty campaign. This will be his 5th of the season. We're into October now. I felt that was the slight chink in the 100 to 30 favourite, and Detain for me was just a bit of a 9 to 2 is a bit skinny, isn't it? A bad each way bet, I was going to say, if we could get slightly bigger than 5 to 1.
The balaclava back out again. But yeah, he could be anything though, Detain, couldn't he? Where I've heard a lot of people talking about the Futurity going into this and sort of saying, well, as a Group 1 goes, is there really a superstar in here? Valerian Winter isn't in here. Detain could be that superstar, and I guess that's the price where he's going to divide opinion, whether you take him on just his sole form or whether or not you chance him to be the next superstar there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my grandfather had the saying in life, you can't beat experience, and that's why I'm with Wimbledon Hawkeye. So, yeah, I totally get Sam's point. He's kind of, Wimbledon Hawkeye is probably a little bit more exposed than a few in here. But isn't it not just a simple case of he's got the best form in the race? And I was worried about the ground from now last time out when he won the Royal Lodge at Newmarket. But just the way he went through that race. He went through the race with a real touch of class. He lobbed along under James Doyle throughout the race and just caught the eye from a long way out, doing everything so easily. Then maybe in front a little bit too soon, but not once at any stage did he ever look like being beaten. I'm hoping here the race will be run at a good gallop. Maybe Delacroix won't be too far away. Detain and O'Dominoi maybe as well, and definitely Seaplane will all go forward. I do think maybe the key to Wimbledon Hawkeye and a big help to him is one is only the ground, but pace as well. He looks like a very expressive horse who likes to use himself and just let him stride on. He's the type of horse now that if you were fighting with him, he could run his race. But I think James Doyle would hopefully be able to just slot him in behind Seaplane, get some of that all-important cover up that long Doncaster mile and hopefully produce him late. I did have a look at the Going Stick readings. I think the Going Stick reading for yesterday, Thursday, was 6.0, which said soft ground. But then for the earlier meeting at for the St Leger Festival, day one was 6.3, and it was good to soft. So
it is drying as well, Dick.
Exactly, yeah.
No rain.
So if you believe in Going Stick readings, and you know sometimes I just think they make it up as they go along, it suggests the ground definitely won't be as bad as the official description suggests.
I give up for Going Stick.
I give up with a lot of these things in the industry. The BHA, the Going Stick. Here we go.
Rixie's rants, come on.
Yeah, Rixie's rants and
Rixie's rants,
Tracey's trends.
Rixie's rants.
I like
Sam's
it, yeah.
Superstars. There we go.
Oh, there you go. He was there. He was ready for that one as soon as I came in. Hopefully, the superstar of this race is going to be Wimbledon Hawkeye for me as well, though, in here. And everything that you've just said there, Rixie, the best form on offer in here. I know that the Lion in Winter, I know that he's had some sort of gloss taken off of his name, it feels, in the last few weeks, just because we haven't seen him. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't lack the ability that we've seen of him on the track beforehand anyway. So it kind of feels very unfair to then damn that form just because he's had a few issues and a few little setbacks for Lion in Winter. So, yeah, Wimbledon Hawkeye, though, the fact he was able to better that form, cope with the soft ground at Newmarket last time out, I know that on the times it wasn't desperate by any means.
Yeah.
But if it's drying up at Doncaster all the time as well, then I'd think that he'll cope with it well, and experience on my side is what I want in this race. So Dec and I, both with Wimbledon Hawkeye, and Sam is with Detain.
Not one tennis pun, Kate. I'm disappointed in both of you.
I don't know the score enough.
You could have served it up to me. Detain's going to rally back and beat Wimbledon Hawkeye.
Why didn't you come up with Wimbledon Hawkeye then, just for the puns?
With Detain, I must have a look at his pedigree in the name. I think he's from the family of Arrest, so there's definitely something going on there.
Yeah, so they're all on the puns, on the pun bandwagon. We're not, unfortunately. I'm a bit too slow for that, to be honest, but hopefully Wimbledon Hawkeye won't be, and we'll still win all the same. Now, before we move on to our next race, a reminder to subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, we're heading to Newbury now for the 3:10, the Group 3 Horris Hill Stakes. 2-year-olds over 7 furlongs. Again, Newbury's action all live on Sky Sports Racing. Dec, you were keen on this race.
Yes, we will. It's not a case of new balls, but a new race here for the Horris Hill, or as my predictive text kept suggesting for me when I first going in, the Horrid Hill. So I hope it's not going to be a case of the Horrid Hill for me, because I'm going to put up Yaru here. I think he would, just given ground conditions, we should also let viewers know that Newbury had to pass an inspection on Friday morning, so it sounds for flat racing ground. The ground's going to be pretty desperate there by all things considered. And look at this boy, he loves a bit of brutal ground. This is him on the yellow out in the middle of the track, I think under Maxime Guillon, and they didn't go much of a pace this day in this listed race, but watch here as his cadence change, he picks up, he quickens. This is a horse who really thrives in this kind of ground, and that just might be half the battle here given conditions at Newbury on Saturday. You can see him there, he's not the biggest horse physically, but he's quite low to the ground, he's got a bit of a knee action, and he clearly thrives in the surface. I think that's going to be half the battle. This form is up there with the best in the race, and he comes from a top yard in the Haggis team with Tom Marquand doing the steering. So yeah, I think conditions are going to play a big part here. We know he handles conditions, and you know he's a really experienced 2-year-old. So Yaru for me.
You've avoided it. You've avoided mentioning it.
Oh no, what have I forgot?
Flatley.
Yes, the Michael Flatley. Yeah.
I thought that was a given when you were giving about.
Yeah, I don't know. Would he come into the? We'll have to have like a barometer of Michael Flatliness of how high the knees goes. I think on a scale of 5, he's maybe a 2 or a 3.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
The scale of flatliness. Right, we will get that worked up into a graphic for you next week. Sam, flatliness, where are you on the scale?
Nowhere. I like You Make Me Smile here. I'm taking a different approach to Deck in terms of profiles for the race. Once raced here at Newbury on heavy ground and made a really good start to life. Actually wasn't the quickest away from the stalls, and for all this race probably wasn't the strongest in the world. I don't think it's a bad piece of form, and obviously once raced there's so much more that could potentially come from Hugo Palmer's horse here. Deck, I like your favourite, but my concern is 4 runs since the start of August.
Oh, here he goes again. Doesn't like experience.
Doesn't want horses to run. He's like a British trainer.
There's a lot to be said for experience, but I think there's a lot to be said for the unexposed nature of this horse who pulls clear at Newbury in the ground conditions we're going to encounter. I just think definitely thought You Make Me Smile was maybe 5 to 1 is getting a bit skinny now. It was just a bit overpriced when I looked at the race. I didn't like the second favourite. 3 starts, all on good ground. I didn't think there was enough in the page to suggest that softer ground is going to be up that horse's street. Bob Marley, perfect record boasting here, 3 from 3. That was definitely a danger as well. I wanted to take the favourite on. You Make Me Smile had the most potential upside, I felt, with that unexposed profile.
Going to be so funny when he's running as green as the colour of the surface he's running on.
And your boy's tired out the back.
After a long season.
Yeah, absolutely wrecked.
Gone down the unexposed profile
He has, hasn't he? Yeah.
today. Oh, we're with battle-hardened, experienced, downtrodden. That's all what we want, though, with our races. And talking of which, our next race at Newbury might well provide us with that. The St Simon Stakes comes up at 3:45 at Newbury. Group 3 contest, 3-year-olds and over a mile 4. Al Arzi bids to give William Haggis a 5th win in this race. 11 to 10 favourite here, Deck.
Yeah, this is a really trappy race now for me. I think that what have we got here? 6 runners. I don't see an awful lot of pace in the race, and it's going to come in brutally soft ground by the sounds of things. And there's nothing worse than backing a horse that you shouldn't have backed, and then just everything falls apart. And that's how I feel about Al Arzi here. We could be looking at this price after the race and going, how did he go off that price? He was way better than everything. But at the same time, I'm not sure this is his ground. I think it's usually the 4th or 5th run of every one of his seasons that he seems to misfire. And then the other thing as well, he was disappointing. He drifted in the market late at Ascot last time out. Didn't get the best of rides on that day either. But before the race, Maureen Haggis said he behaved appallingly. So I just wonder now, could the wheels come off again? But this all just leads me to, this is the perfect time to have a bet without the favourite market. So I don't want to have the mental battle of backing Al Arzi, but I'll just take him out of the equation. I'll put forward God's Own as a bet. Now, he
God's
has...
Own? I mean,
God's Own, yeah.
Years,
he'd probably be a bit outpaced over this trip, to be fair. He would love the ground. God's Window, thank you very much, Katie Tracey. I like him. He's probably had a disappointing season, if we're being brutally honest, given was he 2nd or 3rd in the Futurity in similar conditions last year at Doncaster. And, he just hasn't got on. But to be fair to him, I do think the last number of races, he's shown a little bit more spark. Maybe the cheek pieces have done well. Now, he probably, given they went to decent gallop this to get Al Kareem, was given a very good ride by Clifford Lee. Maybe just didn't stay as well as he could have late here. So I think maybe the more tactical nature and batter in worse ground could suit him in a race that doesn't have a lot of pace. And look, how good is that old form behind Kalpana? Look now, if Al Arzi blows up here, there's definitely not another horse in here with the ability of a Kalpana. So I just thought at the prices in the betting without, I think Bet Victor haven't got a market up yet.
What would you like?
I think there's been 1 or 2 firms priced up in and around the 13 to 2 mark. That will do for me.
You would take 13 to 2 because it leaves a 14 to 1 outsider then in this field of 6. If we take out Al Arzi, God's Window, then wait to see what prices you can get for the without market for God's Window for Deck, Sam.
Yeah, I'm a bit braver than Deck, I think. None of this without nonsense. We will have that market on the day. Don't worry, Deck. I know you like to enjoy those. Feigning Madness is the most interesting runner in the race. I was looking forward to what feels like round 600 of El Arzi versus Al Kareem, but Al Kareem didn't get declared. This horse is really interesting. We're going to watch back at the debut run at Newbury. Wins this day. This comes in soft ground, goes to Newmarket and wins a really, really good race that some really nice prospects have won. This was obviously as a 2-year-old, and then I don't quite know what happened. The wheels seemed to come off a little bit after the Epsom run, where the horse just didn't look to handle Epsom. That was back in April. Haven't seen him since. It's a significant layoff, obviously, but the one thing I'm not particularly worried about is Rafe Beckett's ability to get one ready for the day. He's running 3 in here, which is intriguing enough, but this horse at 10 to 1, I'm willing to take a bit of a punt and see what he's all about, because I just felt there's a lot of upside here. You know the ground will be handled, you know he'll be fine at the track. It may be a bit of a chance for the team just to sign off the season knowing where they are with him, but the fact they've persisted, I think, is absolutely massive. And the quotes after the win at Newmarket were very, very encouraging. I think perhaps the horse hasn't gone the right way, but at this level, I think a return at 10-1, the market will speak volumes as well late off. Keep an eye on it, but I thought Feigning Madness, I was having a very small each-way bet. Alazi, for me, the ground is a concern, and I just don't need to be playing at 11-10.
No, but Feigning Madness at 10-1 in here. I'm pleased that we went to see back that previous race at Newbury. How he won that still, looking back at it, was so impressive. Right, we've gone for 3 different selections, the 3 biggest prices in this small field, admittedly, but I'm splitting the difference between your 2 with Max Vega in here for me at 10-1. Basically, you're just chancing the fact that all the conditions are going to be back in his favour again. This is just an absolute ragamuffin of a race, isn't it, really? But hopefully Max Vega will relish
Kate, as
that.
a sponsor, really appreciate it.
So Ragamuffin Race, sponsored by Bet Victor. You are so welcome. Now, we're going to look back at him in this race 2 years ago when he won it at 22-1. Now, he beat Hamish when Hamish was really in his prime. I mean, when is he not really? But he was really in his prime at this point. He was sent off as the 8-11 favourite, but Max Vega relished the heavy ground on this occasion and saw it out in really, really good style. So I know that Alazi could well just take advantage of this race and be the class act of the field completely. But again, I just wonder, for all that he is ground versatile, I wonder if he is still seen at his best in these deeper conditions at this time of the year than for him as well. So, yeah, at a bigger price, I'd rather take Max Vega to chance that. He's 2 from 7 at Newbury. 2 of those defeats were still when he had a couple of seconds as well as a third. Loves testing ground, so hopefully he can outrun his price. Right then, that is everything from us in this part. Do let us know who you fancy for the Group 3 St Simon Stakes in the comments section below. Up next, though, our best bets. Now, as promised, best bet time. So, Dec, where are we going for yours?
Yeah, we've already discussed the nap, who's going to go at Newbury live on Sky Sports Racing on Saturday, and that is going to be Yaru. As I made the case, it sounds like the ground's going to be very bad at Newbury on Saturday, and we know this guy handles the ground, and for juveniles who are still weak and, you know, probably got a lot of strengthening up to do. I think that could be half the battle given conditions. I'm also going to go to a Sky Sports Racing track on Saturday for the next best, and that's going to be a Diego Ventura in the 130 at Doncaster. I just think this is a horse who's getting better with each run. I loved his run last time out at Newmarket. He's just really starting to sharpen up now, this horse, and I thought he ran well considering the draw got him beat. He was trapped 3 wide, and he probably just didn't get home late either, so the drop down to 6 furlongs hopefully will be okay in a race that has a little bit of pace in it. He won't mind cutting the ground either. I think he actually wants it. And either will Mr. Allen. To be fair to him, he's pretty ground versatile. But he goes now. I just hope Connections are not lining up the November handicap late in a couple of weeks' time. And, you know, he could be just kind of just keeping everything ticking over here as opposed to going to win here. But if they are targeting the race and he goes forward, he definitely is capable of running a big race. So, yeah, Mr. Allen, the long shot from moi this week.
And your nap is being boosted, Yarug, 5-2 to 3-1. So again, do head to the website, as we always say, or use the QR code then to take advantage of that boost for Dec's nap.
Always nice to know when the South African traders are away on holidays.
3-1. It's just far too straightforward a price for you,
too straightforward.
Oh, chuck it out the window. Yeah. Sam, hopefully we can get a funkier price for you for your nap.
Yeah, and hopefully I can stop hitting the crossbar with the nap. The last 3 have finished second. So
you had a good run for a long time.
I'm getting a little bit frustrated, but Give Me 5 will hopefully do us justice. The more I've thought about this horse, the more I think he's the only one that can put it up to the favourite, Gavin Cromwell's horse. I really like the fact he had a pipe opener. Declan in the show earlier agreed with me, which also boosts my confidence levels. He did mention obviously the track as well, but when he was a flat horse, he ran really well on good ground. So I'm kind of thinking that's in his favour compared to plenty of the others in here. So Give Me 5 will hopefully give me £5 back for whatever I put on at 7-2. The Theatre Man is a really interesting runner in the 405. I think this is just a really good example of great placement from a trainer. David Bass takes the ride. Obviously a big season for him going freelance, and this will be a big horse if he can hold on to this ride, I think, throughout the season. definitely can win a race of this nature, has some good experience. I think that form line with Ginny's Destiny at Cheltenham is a really strong thing going into this race, and gets weight from the second favourite and the third favourite in here. And then we've already spoken about Vanilla. It bolsters my confidence that this is not just a prep run unlike previous seasons where he's been running over shorter. I think that 16-1 is still a fair each way price. Gavin Cromwell's good record at the Cheltenham meetings will continue to be enhanced with this old boy, who will come back hopefully to something like his Grand National second from a couple of years ago, around a similar mark. I think only £1 higher than that.
Do you want to know what Gimme Five's price has been boosted from?
Surely, Kate. Tell me, we've gone 7-2 to 5-1.
We have gone 7-2 to 21-5. There you go, Rixie. You're back in business.
South African trader was clearly on a half day.
There's a 5 in there. That's at least an advantage.
Yeah, maybe he's just fed up of your abuse and of the prices. So it's given you a very formulaic one, because just wait till you hear mine as well. My nap is going to be the aforementioned Wimbledon Hawkeye. Hopefully he can win the Group 1 Futurity up at Doncaster. He possesses the best form in the race on soft ground, of course, and last time out in the Group 2 Royal Lodge Stakes, as well as his second to the Lion in Winter in the Group 3 Acomb Stakes. Has experience, the best form on soft ground, so there's not many stones you can throw at him at all. My next best bet is going to be Kansas City Star in the 3-mile-1 handicap chase for Harry Derham, who can do no wrong, as you said earlier, actually, lads. They're 40% strike rate in the last 2 weeks. Hopefully he can really get the trip, which will open up plenty more doors for him going forwards. And the Bell Conductor at 25-1, who I was talking about earlier on with Tracey's Trends, the right conditioning for the season, ran well in the great race last time out as well. Then has been in really good order, and with his win on his penultimate start, suggesting there is plenty more mileage in his mark still. Now, Wimbledon Hawkeye, 100-30.
I'm going to go 19-5.
Yes!
No way!
Come on! See, you and the South African trader, you're on the very similar.
Yeah, well, I was born in Johannesburg, so maybe there's a bit of kind of telepathic going on there.
You tried to resist it this whole time, really.
I wonder does he eat biltong like I do?
You eat a lot of biltong.
I do love a bit.
We'll have to ask him. We'll get Sam onto the case.
Tune in next week to the answer to all these big questions.
That one, but I think that's about time we wrapped up this show, to be honest with you. As soon as we start to get onto biltong, it feels like we need to just cut our losses at this stage. But a big thank you to all of you for watching. Big thank you to you two for all of your hard work as per usual. We'll be back at the same time next week to preview the best of the weekend action.